Today, I'm going to show you one of my favorites and the easiest AI tools to help you summarize your meetings automatically so that you can focus on the conversation and not your keyboard. Did I mention it's free? And I've brought in a special guest in Andra Izgarian, the CEO of Zanobe, a digital marketing agency, to show you exactly the way that she utilizes Fathom and how it's helped her team save time. Let's get into it. So step number one is you install the extension. Step two, join your Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams video call. You click start and the recording automatically begins. Now, there is a way to automate this so that any call you enter, it will automatically start recording. You can even tag specific moments. I personally didn't test this in today's demo, but I will be testing this in future demos. And the setup was insanely easy and seamless. Now, let's jump into a quick demonstration call that I had with Andra. So today we have a lovely guest. We have Andra Izgarian, and she is the CEO of Zanobe, which is a digital marketing agency based out of Bangkok. I'd love to take this opportunity to get to know you a little bit more and for the audience to get to know you. So shoot, give us your CV, give us your elevator pitch. Who are you? What are you about? And how did you get into the digital marketing industry?
Hi, Marcelo. Thank you for that intro. So I'm Andra. I'm CEO and founder of Zanobe, and we specialize in helping hotels reach their direct revenue goals. And what I mean by that is increasing their revenue through their direct website, their most powerful tool that's oftentimes very underutilized and can often get taken over by the OTAs and really supporting hotels in all aspects of the digital marketing front, but mostly in advertising, which was my background. I come from LA in the movie industry, so we were doing. I was working for an agency in LA doing social media marketing when it was very new for the big studio names over in Hollywood. So I moved over from getting butts in movie theater seats to getting butts in beds into hotel
I love that. I love that transition.
rooms.
That is great. So what inspired you to start Zanobe? Like, I know your background, right? But what led to the formation of Zanobe and you working primarily in getting butts into beds?
um, so I moved. I left LA. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to understand the world better as well as understand myself better. And I wanted to build an agency that was not like the agencies that I worked for back back in the US. And those were really big agencies with a really high turnover for account managers and campaign managers. And I thought I could build something better with a lot more care and emphasis placed on the team as well as our clients. So we don't overload our client base. I don't overload my account managers. And that is in order to keep that boutique service to our clients. We're not just pushing clients in and out the door. We're holding on to clients for 2.5, 3 years is our average turnover for clients. And that's exactly what I wanted to build. I wanted to build an agency where not only we care about the people inside the agency, but we really care about the clients. And the only way to do that is to keep it as a boutique agency with very select clients. We don't take on everybody, and really grow with the clients, which is kind of how Zanobe also grew, because not all of the clients were ready for advertising, despite what they might have come to us with, right? If your website is not optimized for converting audiences, then you can advertise, you can spend all the money all day long. And the truth is that it's just not going to convert. And sure, we're getting that retainer in that amount, but who is it really helping? Sure, we get some money in the door, but then the client's out. And that's not what I wanted to build.
That's awesome. I must say that is an inspiration. There's not enough CEOs like yourself who go through an experience, right, of working for another company and think something needs to change, and I want to build something that fosters this like sense of community, not only with the team but with the clients, right? And not what's the word I'm looking for? Just that churn rate, right? That turnover ratio, I guess, is a better term, as you mentioned, of caring about that and not just ruthlessly attacking, the hospitality industry with your services. I really, really love that. So I tip my imaginary hat off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'd love to transition into kind of talking about the tool that we're using. I know that you're using Fathom on your end, right? Internally and externally. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experiences with Fathom so far. And I'm just going to go down a list of questions and would just love to hear your honest feedback. Sound good?
Okay, shoot.
Awesome. So let's start off with I think one of the most important reasons for using this tool is time. How much time has it saved you, your team, your clients? Just love to hear that perspective first.
Hmm. I'm only laughing because I don't have it quantified,
Mhm.
but it's also not only has saved us time, but let's call it minor arguments.
Mm.
So, because we do pay very close attention to our team, and sorry, we pay close attention to our clients. We get on bi-weekly calls with them. We get on really in-depth monthly calls with them, and we work through all of the strategy and all of the upcoming strategy and whatnot. And before, it was a lot of, you're writing the client notes, I'm writing the client notes, then the client has their client notes. Then at what point does it turn into a game of telephone of, well, I'm pretty sure he said, Thursday end of day. No, he said Thursday beginning of day. And then there's always a third person that's like, I'm pretty sure I heard Tuesday. And then everybody's, right in their own world. And then you kind of have to go crawling tail between your legs back to the client, like, sorry, when was the due date and things like this. And so I don't have a specific number for you, but I will just answer that question with that example of, I think in pretty much every single meeting that we have with our clients, there's one question that my account manager and the senior account manager, as example, just won't agree on,
Mhm.
because one person heard something else. And it's so amazing to just go back to Fathom. They even have an AI feature now where you're not even having to search yourself for that portion of when is this project due. You can literally ask the AI Fathom, when did the client say this project would be due? And
Oh.
the AI just responds back, oh, it was Wednesday. And then nobody had it correct. Yeah. And then it's super easy because nobody got their feelings hurt. And then we could just all move on with the actual project as opposed to discussing when the due date is.
I love that. That's great. And that was going to
Yeah.
be my next question is when it comes to kind of the note-taking side of things. I feel like I had that issue in the past with, my businesses that I've ran, and everybody has this type of memory in their brain of oh no, this was said for sure. But that's their perspective, right? This removes all of that doubt and back and forth and possible conflict that could lead to other problems. Fathom saves us from that, right? And so it sounds like it saved you quite a bit since you've started using it. So that is awesome to hear. And I know you briefly touched on this, but more specifically, how were you managing your note taking before? Aside from just kind of assigning who's taking the notes for that meeting, what tools were you using out of curiosity?
Yeah, good question. And it's kind of a two-part answer because it's kind of before AI and then after AI. So I
Mhm.
would say, let's say before December of 2024, um, it was it was a lot of, just notepad. Like everybody was on their own notepad. We might have a sidebar discussion with my team if the meeting was really complicated and the project due dates were a little bit more complex than they usually are. And then that account manager would summarize the email, send it to the client. And that's another, actually, that's another time saver um, that I didn't even think about till just now, that we're no longer having to write these really long follow-ups and these really long itemized lists of you owe me this, you owe me that, we're still outstanding this, and Fathom does that all for us now. So embarrassingly, prior to AI last year, it was just really, really manual.
Mhm.
And I would say as kind of the AI tools started, there was a couple other note taker apps that I tested out before Fathom. And I will say that okay, personally, because we are a very client focused agency, off the bat, I haven't found any of them to be aesthetically as pleasing as Fathom is.
Mm.
Meaning, when anything ever comes out of my agency, um, if it's not 100%, it better be gosh darn close to 100%. And some of the other note takers, while they were still nice and useful and still doing what they needed to do and saving us time, I didn't love that appearing in our clients' inbox the way that it looked. They were still, in the early phases.
Mhm.
And so Fathom just looks cool. It's organized really well. It has a really nice UI. It looks more professional. It looks like, what you want to do when you're like cutting edge agency. And that's, how I want to portray us. So yeah, that was aesthetically also a really big winner there.
I love that. So it sounds like it not only saved you time internally, right? Just between meeting notes on your end, but also following up with your clients with a summarized kind of like checklist of, all right, here's everything we need from you based off of our call. Here's all of our responsibilities based off of our chat. I know that in the past that things would slip through the cracks and, you know, either you would suffer as an agency or your client would suffer, right? From just one little checklist that you missed or one little to-do item, one little actionable item that you missed. So that's cool. That's great to hear. Awesome. So I'd like to ask you another question. What's your favorite thing about Fathom aside from the obvious?
The check boxes.
The check
I
boxes?
love, yes. um, there's a really nice feeling of feeling complete when
Mhm.
you get to check one of those boxes.
Mm.
Just like you would, like, I think crossing off in your like to-do note. I am still a little bit of a pen and paper gal. Shh. And so there's still nothing like just crossing it off manually, but I kind of like it in Fathom as well. I will say that I am waiting for the Monday.com integration. So at this moment, they are integrated with Asana. So the checkpoints, I would like them actually then ported directly into Monday based on the
Mhm.
client and the client's board. So we're not checking off and having different project management tools. Um, but for that specific meeting, once like these tasks have been asked or like moved into Monday.com or sent as an email or sent to our graphic designers, whatever the case might be, I
Mhm.
love just like checking it off and like seeing a full list from that meeting and it all being checked off. It's a really nice feeling.
I love it. I love it. I'm guilty as charged. I'm a pencil. I don't know what it is about pencil, but I love pencil even more than ink
Ugh.
and paper. I guess it depends, right? Pencil is great because it's not permanent and like you can erase if you misspell or like want to change it from lowercase to uppercase. I know this is super weird and kind of like borderline childish, but checking something off or crossing it out is one of the most satisfying feelings.
It
Um,
really is.
I use Notion for just managing everything I'm working on. And I have this weekly checklist that I review every Sunday for the week ahead. And as I'm progressing through the week, I just click the little checkbox next to that item underneath the day of the week. And it just feels so good.
Ah, that dopamine hit like
Mm,
nothing else.
it's nothing else. I love it. Well, I think this was a great test. I asked all the questions I wanted to ask. Chances are, as soon as we get off this call, I'll have one more, but we can always just schedule a follow-up once you have a little bit more time under your belt with Fathom as this new integration gets rolled out, hopefully soon. And I will actually share an idea with you off script, or I guess off camera, because I don't want to share it with the public yet, because yeah, it might not be a tool that everyone wants to use yet, but I'd like to do some closing thoughts. And I do have one or two more questions for you. What's one tip you have? Now, this is for the aspiring entrepreneurs or maybe somebody working in their job, preferably an agency, that is unhappy with the way things are being run. Maybe they have the thought that they could do it better or they could create a more enjoyable experience, not only for their team, but for their clients. What's one tip that you would have for somebody in those shoes who wants to start their own digital marketing agency? And it could be more than one tip. But what comes to mind?
Your staff is the most important asset that you'll have. Fire quickly. And usually how the person behaves and the qualities they show in the first interview is exactly how they are going to perform, in the job itself. I have given many exemptions to this rule. I have passed people through and ignored my own rule, and every single time it goes back to exactly how they performed in the first interview. Were they on time? Were they prepared? Were they presentable? Did they speak clearly? Did they do did they do research on your company? Did they ask really meaningful questions? Did they listen when you spoke? These might be basic things, but if you start paying attention to exactly how somebody acts in the first interview, it will mirror the rest of your time with them, and that's up to you if you want to take that on.
I love that. I feel like that's invaluable advice right there. So everybody take notes. Well, wait a second. We have Fathom taking notes for us. So I will make sure we put these results in the description below, and I'll paste it on the screen after we end this call. So that's wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time today. Thanks for kind of carving out some time in your busy schedule for us. And I'm looking forward to touching base again in a month, maybe 2 months, of kind of how you're still utilizing Fathom, what integrations you've applied to your workflow. And for everybody watching, I'm going to share my ideas that I'm going to share with her off camera in another video. This tool is still in alpha, but I believe that we may not have to wait for Fathom to integrate a CRM that they don't support yet. I think there's a way to do that on the back end with another tool, but I want to test it before I share it. So that's what this channel is all about. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And where can everybody find you? Let's say somebody wants to connect, wants to hire you, possibly is looking for a job. Give us the TLDR.
Yeah, you can find us at zanobe.com, ZANBOE. And there's a contact form. You can check out some of our case studies, the work that we're doing. And again, it's very in-depth, and we do tailor it to every client. So we're not out of the box. We don't have a one solution fits all. That's, again, going back to just not how I want to operate. So it will be a discussion. It would be something that will holistically benefit your business in the best way possible that we can. And look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you, Marcella.
Thank you, Andra. Hope you have a good day.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And
Here's what we got from just that short call. We got key takeaways that are automatically summarized. We got action items that are clearly listed. And we got the full transcript. That way we can search it for keywords or moments in time to kind of revisit that moment. Now, say goodbye to different members of your team thinking that one thing was discussed in a certain way. That's not going to happen again. Miscommunication solved. It's amazing. So I'm looking forward to incorporating Fathom into my day-to-day. Whether it's internal or external meetings, I'll be using Fathom every time. Now, I hope you found some value in this video. I'm not an AI expert. I'm building in public and sharing what actually works. If you'd like to see me cover a particular tool around a specific topic, drop a comment below. Let me know who you are, what you do, who your target audience is, and what your question is, and I will add a video to my queue, custom tailored just for you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. My name is Marcelo. This is Clearmud, and clarity matters.